3, 2, 1. I wish I knew how to quit listening to Sardonicast. This is Adam from Your Movie Sucks. How is it going?
Hey, it's Ralph, the movie maker.
Hey, it's Alex from IG. You know, that was the one line I knew from the movie.
All you needed was the guitar music.
It's memed.
Yeah.
You pull that up on your phone with the dun dun dun. Oh yeah, well I know there's like the meme with like Jacob and Edward, and they play like the music like with them. Like it's like a scene with them, but it's the Brokeback Mountain music. That's how I know it. It's a great score. It's just like
yeah, I think I might have seen that now you mention it.
Yeah, it's a great score. I'm just, it's been memed, right?
Fantastic score. We're going to talk about it more later when we're in the
I watched it on my new TV.
Oh.
Because
I saw your tweet.
Yeah, I mentioned
75 inches or something.
Yeah, it's pretty big. It's nice and big. But there's like, so yeah, I remember I talked about it on the podcast. Like, yeah, I should get a bigger TV, and like, I didn't realize it was like last episode we did. So like, literally.
3 weeks
the episode
ago.
after I said that, the episode after I said that, I got a new TV. I'm like, oh, that's pretty proactive. Yeah, and it's good. TVs are weird. They're not like Adam. You have a projector.
Yeah.
Like it's sad that like most TVs are kind of made for sports and gaming now.
Yeah.
So there's like this.
There's a lot of weird presets that they come with too.
Exactly. So I had to fuck around with the TV a lot, but there's some things like you can't change. So there's like, I was looking it up. There's like a refresh rate.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's like 60 hertz. So that makes the motion like smoother. I don't know exactly how much it is. It's like 60 hertz to 120 hertz.
There should be like a motion smoothing setting though. Like even if it is 60 hertz, if you turn off motion smoothing, that helps.
Oh yeah, I turned all that off. Yeah. That stuff's good for like sports and gaming, but not really for film.
Yeah, it ruins movies.
You want like a 24 frames a second for film, but like a lot of these TVs, they just naturally bump it up.
I'm just wondering if it's possible to have a television that just has the capability of however many frames per second, whatever motion smoothing, etc., but only outputs what the input signal is receiving. So like if the piece of media is like, yes, this is 60 frames per second, then the TV outputs it as, and it does, like, it wouldn't be creating artificial frames with motion smoothing or something, right?
Yeah.
Like,
that should be the standard.
You'd think that would be easier to do, right?
Yeah,
but they don't.
Just play it the way the media wants it to be played. And if you want to add on like ways to fuck with it, like I'm all about customization if people want to do weird shit, but I think the default should just be like native to the media. Right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's turned on automatically, so like it will automatically, up the frame rate or whatever of everything. But there's a balance you got to find. Like I think a lot of theaters now show things at a bit higher frame rate. You don't really notice it, and it is a TV. It is a different experience. Ultimately, it's a different display than
is it
like
a Samsung?
A film. Yeah, it's a Samsung. Samsungs are really nice. That's why I usually got them.
They're good for the price.
Yeah, so I got a nice one. It's a QLED also. They had an OLED. OLED's apparently the nicest thing you can get right now, but it's so expensive. And also, so that was mostly it. It's expensive, and it doesn't come in any higher like size than 65, I think.
Oh, weird.
For Samsung anyway. Yeah, like LG has bigger, but Samsung, the biggest one they had was like 65. So it's about like taking in all these things into consideration and finding like the best TV for you. Like I watched Dune on it. It looks great. Like I can't really notice like the frames that much. Like it's just like it's a different experience. Like maybe 24 on a TV like that would look bad. I think most 4K TVs now have they just have that kind of built into them, So it's about like finding the balance, right?
Whatever screens they use at some of the rides on Disney World, they're like huge and like pretty high res. Like I want to play a movie on that and see what happens. I guess that's technically what's happening.
Yeah, I think what a lot of theaters do, like even if they say it's 4K, because I remember we talked about that before, I think with the Avatar trailer, if like movies projected 4K in theaters, they do, but they do this thing where they project the same image twice, like on the screen. I think they do that too with like those rides, right? So you're seeing like multiple projectors. So technically it's 4K, but it's more like 2.5K, like projected twice. So I think that
weird.
technically ups the frame rate also.
Weird.
So, there's like all these things like you don't even notice like when you're watching a movie in a theater also.
Why would that up the frame rate?
Because it's the same image twice, I guess. So it's
But when you say
technically, like,
twice, do you mean like side by side, kind of?
well, no, it's like it's literally like two images projected over each other. So I think there's some kind of like mathematical thing there. So it's like 224 frame per second images. Again, I'm not like an expert on this kind of thing.
If it was delayed by a half frame,
Maybe.
Anyway, I'll look into this later. It's kind of complicated.
Yeah, it is very complicated, but it's a nice TV.
Since you were so proactive about your television, 3 episodes ago. We were talking about Halo. You said you were going to get the original Halo on disc. Did you do that?
No, not yet.
You should get on it.
You said you had them. You said you had extra copies also.
Oh yeah. Do you want me to mail you one? I can mail you one.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can just mail me one.
Yeah, someone over to
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to remember to do that.
Yeah, I'll look on eBay.
Cool.
I got a bunch of Xbox stuff, but yeah, I need to get that.
I think I have a few actually. So.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'll write that down.
Yeah, cool. I could probably play those on my 360 also.
Yeah.
Just because they're a little...
Yeah, it's got backpack.
Yeah, yeah. Certain games do for 360. I'm sure that one does.
And you can't do backwards. So the Xbox One and Series X are backwards compatible with certain original Xbox games, like a weird library, one of them being like Blinks the Time Sweeper, and then like one of them being like Fusion Frenzy.
Yeah, it's legendary.
But the original Halo isn't, and that kind of pisses me off because it's clear it's like, oh, they just want you to get the Master Chief Collection. It's like, fuck off. I want to, like, it would be nice to be able to play the original disc in that way, because there are differences. They're tiny differences, but like, if you're a nerd and you want to be able to experience like the genuine, if not, maybe upscaled by the Series X or whatever, like I feel like you should be able to do it that way.
No, they like messed up some of the particle effects and stuff.
Yeah.
Because the one on the Master Chief Collection is, I think, the PC port, which like in the exchange did change some of the like atmosphere stuff and the like density of clouds and whatnot. So yeah,
there's a lot
if
of
you want to get dorky, there's some good videos out there.
There's a lot of tiny things that they fucked up.
Yeah. I got the converter for like, HDMI, because these new TVs, they don't even have like those AV ports, whatever it's called. So I had to get like a converter. So it's like HDMI into that. Yeah.
There was a long period of my life, like many years when I moved to Vancouver. It's over now, but there was a long period of my life where I just kept old tube televisions just to be able to be like, oh, well, I have some composite cables and some like original PS1 and Xbox stuff, and just recreate the experience of playing it on that type of screen. I think for certain games, it does really add to the atmosphere, like Silent Hill or something, right? And even for older games that aren't necessarily like, ooh, we're supposed to be scary and blah, blah, blah. Even for games like that, there is something unique about it where it kind of softens the edges of the polygons. And so you look at like an HD remaster for something like the Rare Replay Collection. You look at like some of these older games and you're playing it on like an HD television and it's upscaled to like 1080p. It's like there's so many jagged edges and it feels kind of weird. There is at least one HD remaster. And I think it might have been on the Rare Replay Collection. I think it might have been for actually Battletoads, believe it or not, where you can press a button and it adds a filter to soften the image in the same way that an old TV, a tube TV would, which I found really cool.
That's cool.
That's a good idea.
It's
Yeah, I agree with that. It looks more like software now because it's losing that like it adds like this atmosphere to it. I feel.
Well, yeah, we're spoiled with the clarity and sharpness.
yeah, but it's for old games.
Blurry as fuck back then.
But sometimes it works against it.
Yeah, you're definitely.
Yeah, sometimes it does for the older games.
Because a lot of these things were made for televisions that did. I mean, the technology wasn't there anyway, but the experience at the time. If you want to replicate that experience, it was on that type of television, and it's a very different look. And even, the fucking aspect ratio too,
Yeah.
We're so used to widescreen now.
Yeah, you know what I did get on Xbox? I got the Thing game, which we talked about before.
Oh, yeah. Have you tried it?
Very difficult. It's very difficult.
Yeah, I played it for a bit. It's pretty difficult. It's fun.
Let me know if you beat it.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah, you like control all your guys and there's like a trust meter. Like if you trust, it'll trust
Some
you.
of the shit just doesn't matter and it lies to you. It, like,
Oh
sets
yeah,
up, yeah.
Oh yeah, it sets you up to fail. Because I like one of my guys died. I like reset the level, and then he kept dying or whatever, kept turning into the thing. So I'm like, yeah, this is like scripted.
Yeah, it's annoying.
But I don't know. It's fun. It's an old game still. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. I'll play Halo eventually.
Ask me a yes or no question.
Is Halo your favorite game?
On opposite day, I'd say nope. Starring Daniel Kaluuya, directed by Jordan Peele, is a movie that we all watched. How did we feel about it?
Oh, I liked it. Yeah. I just woke up, so that's why I sound like
too.
All deep or whatever. Yeah, I watched Brokeback and then just woke up. But yeah, I liked the movie. I thought it was decent.
I'm on the verge of loving it, honestly.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell with this film.
Yeah, it is only the first watch, and as we've said the past few episodes, whatever, you don't truly know a lot of the time until you've seen it maybe twice. But really, really creative, fun like twist on a kind of tired genre. I've always like had a thing for these like UFO alien movies. As a kid, I was obsessed with. You ever seen that weird movie Fire in the Sky? It's like not very good.
No. The title sounds familiar. I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, it's like it's one of those quote unquote based on a true story like type movies, but it has this like infamous scene towards the end, which is like just this horrifying abduction, which as a kid was just like so traumatizing to me.
It's on my watch list for some reason. I think maybe there was like a YouTube video that talked about that scene or something.
Yeah, I'd recommend just watching the abduction scene on YouTube, but the rest of the movie is like nothing.
Okay.
Whereas Nope, like, without talking spoilers, like it's a really good twist with a lot of like fun kind of commentary that Jordan Peele seems to be excelling at. Kind of.
How much do we want to say without spoilers is my question, because I'm trying to think of like the things I
really
want to talk about are all kind of spoilery. It's like what even is a spoiler for this movie? Like it was kind of marketed weird.
Yeah, we can go into spoilers.
I appreciate the marketing, honestly. Like it was surprisingly restrained.
I thought the teaser trailer was great, and then I thought the main trailer that they put out afterwards made the movie look a lot worse. And I was like, who the fuck did this? Like whoever's job this was.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's like three. That's what I was thinking. I mean, there's like three different tones like going on in that trailer. It's like really weird. I don't think the Nope thing was like intentional with the Not a Planet Earth. I think I read that somewhere. Someone told me. Yeah, because we were talking about that. I don't know. I don't think Jordan Peele intended it.
But his previous movie did that.
The original
like
title,
Us, US, like it's about America.
Us.
Right?
Oh yeah, well, yeah. I think this was better than Us also. The original title for this was like Little Green Men, which would have been misleading. Like that was like another title they were considering.
It's probably a working title just to get the movie made.
Really?
Spoiling.
Yeah, but the Little Green Men part was supposed to be like money. Like they were, because they were trying to film the UFO to make money, so like the Little Green Men dollar bills.
Oh,
that's kind of cool.
I'm like, okay, that's like a bad title. I don't know. Nope is a better title.
Nope is a much better title, because my gut like instinct when it was first revealed was like, I don't know, there's something kind of goofy about that, but how it kind of plays out in the movie and how it affects dialogue is quite effective. They say
Nope a lot. Yeah. In the movie, it's a lot, like especially the second time.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of how many times they say it, I think that word it tells you the genre of the film already. Like Nope as in like fuck no, like maybe perhaps there's some fear and tension, and Nope is just it's kind of a comedic thing to say, and it is both genres. So I think that the title works really well. It lets you know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I was in Montreal shortly after seeing the movie, and I think I've told you before, the Quebec language laws are so stupid in the sense that like they have to have French signage in ways that like are so weirdly nationalistic to the quote unquote nation of Quebec, and just protectionist and just weird shit, where you go and you see a Starbucks and it says Cafe Starbucks. In France you see a Starbucks, it says Starbucks. right? Like it doesn't matter, right? And so one of the Instagram pages that my brother follows is just a kind of a shitposty Montreal thing, and the poster for Nope, when like in like pretty much every other language it would just say Nope, like maybe just like a direct translation, but they were laughing at it because it was like ben non and it was it which doesn't even really translate to Nope. I forget what my brother said it was kind of like fuck no or something. I don't remember, but it was
it's quite pedantic, isn't it?
It was a silly looking poster anyway. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, you just you mentioned Us, and I liked a lot of what that movie was going for, but I felt that towards the end it started kind of slipping over with like just too much exposition. Kind of, it's that balance with horror movies, isn't it? When you're like playing with certain concepts, and it's like how much are you going to reveal versus keep secret, and what's going to be like a satisfying kind of way to handle that. And I felt like once you do start getting the answers in Nope, it kind of actually adds to the horror as opposed to kind of taking it away like it did in Us, which we can delve into more in spoilers when we're ready. But
sure, I thought this movie was really scary at parts.
Yeah,
there's like some really good horror scenes. It's probably the scariest movie to me. It's like some really effective scenes regarding like when they get abducted or when like the blood was like gushing out of the ship.
We should be in spoilers talk if we're going to talk about it.
Did we say spoilers? Yeah.
Let's just say
let's just do it. Let's just
spoiler
do it. Stop bouncing around.
Yeah, spoilers. Yeah, some really good imagery in here. It looks really strong as well. Like the cinematography. It's his best looking movie also. It's just so many ways I think it's his best.
I haven't seen Get Out in a while, and I remember liking it, and to an extent where I'm like I couldn't say if I like Nope better than Get Out. Like I feel like I like Get Out better, but I really don't know. But something that stuck out to me about Get Out, something that I'll always remember, is those trance scenes, those hypnotism scenes, where I thought those were shot like super well. I thought the cinematography in those was like super creative and just like I loved the filmmaking there. There are parts like that in Nope, but I think that if I were to say like my favorite looking shots, it would have to be that sequence in Get Out. And I love a lot of how Nope looks, don't get me wrong, but
but man, what a novel spin on just such a tired kind of idea, the UFO, the paranoid guys trying to figure out what it is, and you're just kind of waiting. There's the fake out with the like kids dressed up as the big-eyed alien things, and you're kind of waiting for that scene, for that kind of reveal, but then it's kind of flipped on its head, and it's like, nope, the ship isn't a ship at all. It's like it's a creature.
Yeah,
it's like a deep water kind of creature. That's what I guess the design is kind of inspired by. It's like this natural thing.
I really want to. Jordan Peele's films have all had some sort of racial commentary. And it's clear that this does as well to me. I have not thoroughly researched any of these conversations online. I don't know how many people it wasn't like on my Twitter feed and I didn't look it up, but I would love to, I guess, dive into or try to dissect exactly what he's going for here, because here's some of the things that really stuck out to me when I was watching the film is the creature, the way it looks, the way it like kind of opens its mouth or whatever we're going to call it, looks exactly like an old film camera, like lens looking at you, like the square.
Yeah.
Obviously, the characters are the first black horse people that had horses for movies. I forget the official title of them, but that was heavily emphasized. When Stephen Yun talks about the aliens before he's doing the show, he uses a very particular word. He doesn't say the watchers. He says the viewers. I call them the viewers. Like that's a very particular thing to say. That is very clearly when you're calling the aliens the viewers, like there's some commentary being made on media here. And I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like, oh, is it just like it's sucking up people, like everybody it's sucked up is not black, or like what media wants it, or there's like disparity in terms of how people are represented in media. Like, I don't have a clear answer of what it's going for. Maybe I have to watch it a second time, but there's something clearly there, right? I don't know how you feel about that.
Well, yeah, sure. That's what's so cool about it. Yeah.
Yeah, because the opening credits were from the perspective of inside the ship looking out as well.
Yeah.
So it's like
and you don't know that yet. Like when you see it the first time, you're like, what is that?
Yeah. You have no idea what it means. But it's also a film about exploitation as well, and like spectacle. There's the whole kind of B plot with the chimp from the old kind of 80s sitcom, and all of that just feeds into the exploitation and just this obsession humans have with like this kind of media, this kind of wanting to document everything and use like animals or whatever to achieve what like just kind of mindless entertainment.
True.
And that's kind of the horror of that chimp scene.
And I guess with them being like, horse wranglers and stuff, that kind of fits into that too.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's the point of like Steven Yeun's like character. He kind of misinterprets the whole like chimp experience as an exploited like child actor, and he thinks he has this connection with this chimp, and that he, as a result, as an adult, thinks he can kind of control the alien in a similar way he could like bond with the chimp. And it's like all about the relationship of the like trying to control like predators or nature or whatever you want to describe it, whereas the lead character, he has like a different relationship with animals. Like he respects them in a different way, and he knows they can't really be controlled in the same way, and you got to treat them differently and understand what they are.
Yeah.
You see that in the beginning scene, like when they're filming, like Daniel Kaluuya's there with the horse on set. They're all white on set, and like they're trying to control the animal. It doesn't respond well.
Yeah,
they're not respecting it,
and he's telling them like, don't go behind it, like, try to respect.
Yeah, well, that scene is great. They like set up so much, like in that scene, that you don't even realize. Like they set up the cinematographer, who I didn't realize would come back in the film later.
Yeah. They made sure to like emphasize it.
I guess if you saw the trailer, it's like one shot. They set up the reflection thing.
Yeah, the reflection. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, like if you look at the animal or if you look at the UFO, it like agitates it.
Yeah.
I like the UFO doesn't really have like a purpose to it. Like it's not explicitly explained. It's kind of like going on instinct. It's going like,
It's just an animal, just a territorial creature. It's decided it wants to live there, and it's just going to eat whatever comes near it.
Right.
Which is horrifying.
Yeah.
I'd like to point out and see, I want to get your thoughts on the connection between the B-plot chimpanzee show and the actual alien UFO whatever events, because there are ways in which it's kind of implied that there's some sort of connection there. There was that like weird shoe that was standing
You're
upright.
Talking about a shoe, yeah.
Yeah, like that was
Miracle.
Something that it focused on and was like, okay, well, wait, is there some sort of supernatural thing happening at this moment that's causing the chimpanzee to be agitated, or like what's happening there?
Maybe.
And then there was also a clip that Jordan Peele posted on Twitter, which maybe was a deleted scene or extra footage or something, but essentially it was a fake intro opening theme song for that fake TV show. And at the end of the credits for the fake TV show, it had the little boy and the chimp giving each other a fist bump. But what they were doing is they were looking into a telescope, like up at the stars sort of thing. So for it to end in that way, like maybe it's just like, kind of being cheeky, like tying it into his like space movie sort of thing. But I'm wondering what you think about like what the connection is between, or like what the implied connection is between the show and the alien events. Like what is he saying? Do you have any ideas? Or I'm going to watch it again, I guess.
Well,
but yeah.
Yeah, I think it was about kind of like what I was sort of getting at with the like trying to control animals or the misinterpret. What do they call it? A bad miracle. There's like a line at some point in the movie, kind of feeding into Steven Yeun's character as a kid, maybe misinterpreting these ideas and assigning too much value, and because he does take kind of the totally like wrong, like sickest, most kind of greedy like takeaway from the experience and turns it into this like amusement park basically, and it's all about just the exploitation of it and the crossover of a chimp kind of being abused for entertainment, and then like all these characters chasing this this thing that does turn out to also be like a kind of dangerous predator that needs to be respected.
Yeah.
You know, that's the kind of crossover I see.
There's a couple things I was a bit confused by in the movie. Like, I don't remember if it's because I went to the bathroom at the wrong time or what happened, but I was hoping you could help fill me in. So in the context of the show that Steven Yeun is doing, was the implication that like he was successfully able to like show a crowd alien things at any point, or was it like he was doing a fake thing and then they really showed up?
I don't know if that's really clear.
I was also a bit confused on that as well. He was kind of making out that he was saying that every Friday it showed up and maybe you could see it fly in the distance or something. It was definitely like that was the first time it had like abducted a large group of people in that kind of way.
Or like came that close, I guess, even.
Yeah. Because he has a line about how like this hasn't happened before or something like this, but you'd also imagine that there'd be a much bigger crowd if he'd been doing this and showing it off for weeks and weeks, whereas the crowd's kind of pointed out to be pretty slim pickings, so maybe it was more vague.
Yeah. And then what exactly was the cloud also? What did that turn out to be? I think I missed that part.
I think that is the show.
The cloud was kind of like a camouflage.
Just for the alien, so like the cloud was just the alien hanging out there in one spot?
Or whatever it is, yeah.
Yeah, I saw it, you know, like in the deep ocean or whatever, like an octopus can like camouflage into whatever. I saw it as like a natural kind of phenomenon like that.
Right. Okay. You really unique design of that ship. Like I like
it looks cool.
Like kind of a cloth it's made of. Yeah. Yeah. That was really interesting.
I like the colors too.
I looked up who designed it. And it was this aeronautics engineer who reverse engineers jellyfish, and you can like that when I read that made it make a lot of sense to me, because I was seeing all these like kind of deep ocean like natural like patterns in the way like it's like a big reveal the way it unfolds towards the end and kind of starts gliding around, and it's like
it's very mesmerizing.
It's no longer the
it is like something you see like a sea creature that's like really, you know, hidden deep in the ocean. It is like
exactly
it's something like that. Like it feels kind of real. One of the more things I was confused about was like toward the end with the cinematographer. I wanted to get your thoughts on that. Like, why did he like suck him like intentionally?
I think it was to get the shot
in the ship. Yeah, it was partly that, right? He says like, you know, it's what's the term for it? It's like sunset hour, like
golden hour
lighting.
Golden hour. Yeah,
it's like the perfect lighting for that. So he's like, I gotta get the shot right. So it's like, but it's also kind of like he went crazy, like he just snapped and like
but as he walks away, he's saying like we don't deserve this or something along those lines. So I wasn't sure if because I thought like, is his plan to get the shot while going up, and then when it spits out,
like hopefully someone gets the footage,
maybe they're able to salvage it.
Yeah, but that didn't work out for him. That's why I was like, because it just spits it out, right? And then the footage is all destroyed. Like, definitely that footage got destroyed.
He was a kook. He was kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's like he just lost it. I guess he was sick of, like, editing all that old footage of, like, you know, octopuses on, like, sea creatures, like, or whatever. There's something like that going on there.
God.
I think it's supposed to be kind of vague. There's, like, so many vague elements of it. And like, but there's a lot of like dialogue in this movie that's like exposition, but you don't really like pick up on it. But there's like so much going on in the dialogue that's like explaining things, and like, you don't even notice it necessarily.
Especially because the two leads have such great chemistry. They really sell it.
Great,
and they've got a great dynamic because with Daniel Kaluuya, he's like really underplayed and compared to his sister, who's really vibrant, and she's got all these like eccentric costumes and outfits. I mean,
he doesn't have a lot of dialogue, which is great. And he's like very understated. And Keke Palmer's very like animated.
Yeah. Great opening scene as well. I loved the whole, like, what is it, like the Penny killing his dad and how like tragic and strange. Mysterious is.
Speaking of the Thing,
true.
He was good. Very briefly in it.
Yeah, I was like, what? You're in this movie?
I didn't expect him to
crazy
die that quick. And it was brutal, like blood
cool, yeah.
shooting out of his eye in the car.
Yeah, when he's in the car.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like so much. There's so much going on in it. It's so dense. Every frame is so much going on. George Lucas, except good.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, and then I wonder if there's like significance to it, like killing him through his eye when we're talking about like viewer and like that's kind of from a viewfinder sort of thing, like watching. Like, there's more to chew on here, you know.
Or if that was just like random.
Sure. Yeah.
Or if like maybe Keith David looked up at the sky.
One of the posters is just like a horse's eye and the reflection of like through that, you know.
Yeah, right. Well, I don't know if you've seen the poster with like Stephen Yeun like looking up, with like, but his hat. If you look at it, it basically just looks like the UFO in the movie.
Oh yeah,
like, only on the poster. Yeah, it just looks like the UFO is floating above his head. Hey, maybe I could pull it up here and just send it.
Yeah, I do really like those posters of all the characters looking up. It's all immediately intriguing.
I love, there's a lot of really, really cool visuals in this. And yeah, that one scene particularly with, you know, the interior of people getting like digested and shit. I was like, whoa, that's pretty scary. Like, that's pretty terrifying.
Oh yeah.
Like, you're fucked. You're absolutely.
That's
like,
genuinely horrifying. Claustrophobic and really good sound design.
Like, no hope.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
And as it's kind of like gliding around and you can hear the like screams like an amusement park like coming from the hole. It's like really fucked up.
That would be like, honestly, that's no matter how I die, I don't want there to be a bunch of like screaming people around me. That's just so uncomfortable. You know?
Yeah.
I don't like screaming people. It's very disturbing.
Yeah, and I guess
it's really dark. There's like it's like an audience of like children. There's like the girl from the flashback who had her face ripped off.
Oh
and
yeah,
a bunch of random families there.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's scarier to me than anything in his previous movies. Like that's some existential, like horrifying, like being eaten by a bear, like type of fear.
Yeah, it has like an esophagus, like
eaten by a large gay man. Speaking of bears, no, we're not gonna. We're still talking about.
No. I don't know if you guys agree, but I did feel the length of the movie a bit. I felt like there were some pacing problems. That's the main thing from me holding back from loving it.
It could have been solid 2 hours.
Yeah, I felt that to a minor extent.
Yeah, not a lot. Just like 10 minutes could have been cut out or cut down.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
Just a tad.
Yeah, for sure.
Because even with like the horror movie trope of the fake out scares and with the dress up kids and stuff, I feel like on a rewatch stuff like that won't be as effective because you like know kind of where it's going.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah,
upon a rewatch, but it is so ambitious. It's doing so much that like I just really respect this movie, that like how big a budget it was, like how big it was, and that it was able to like be this like experimental. Like the person I saw it with thought it was really weird. I'm like, I guess I didn't take it that way, but yeah, I guess it is a very weird movie for like a general audience, and it's really scary at points, and it's really like the whole thing going on with the ape and how that's not like literally connected to the story anyway. It's like very jarring, but I think that's intentional. It's like all these really interesting things going on that like I feel like so many movies wouldn't take these risks.
Yeah, but that's also one of the best horror scenes.
Oh yeah.
When the chimp actually kind of freaks out, which also has another fun parallel I saw, I think in the trivia, where it's a balloon that pops that sets off the chimp, and it's like a balloon popping that like finishes off the
true
jean jacket or whatever they call it towards the end.
It's a balloon that looks like Stephen Yeun, and also if you notice in that scene, there's like a shot from the point of view of the UFO, and it has like those green like felt things that come out of it right when it's getting sucked up or whatever. So like from the point of view of that camera, it looks like the green drapes kind of hanging over like Stephen Yeun when he's like getting attacked by the chimp in that scene. Like you see like the float come up that looks like Stephen Yeun, and then there's like that green stuff coming from the alien. It's like kind of blocking the field of view.
Yeah, I love like visual parallels like that.
Yeah, they're definitely going for something there. Like that's why the alien had green whatever felt.
Yeah, this makes me want to watch it again right away.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
But the 4K Blu-ray is not out yet, so whatever.
Even if I don't have like all the answers for it, I think that's like kind of the point. Also, like these are very weird. Like the more you explain, like Alex said, the less scary it becomes. Like the less it has that impact on you. Because like seeing it twice, I don't know if I have like any more answers than I did the first time. Like I get more what it's going for. I like picking up on those, like the racial allegory and the stuff he puts in all his movies. There's always like this racial component. But yeah, it doesn't really, a lot of these things just don't matter to me. It just makes the movie scarier. You know, it's like explaining too much would take away from the horror. Really. I
was enjoying the movie until he made it political. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's like the whole movie.
So yeah, I have in my notes, there was an interesting, like, in the end credits, they had, like, Western film genre music, and, like, Western aesthetic for, like, set of the film, too, which was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But one thing that stood out to me when I watched it is that some of the music felt a bit inappropriate during pivotal scenes. There's, like, some points where it got, like, kind of stereotypical and, like, kind of cheesy.
What do you think, like, too triumphant, or...?
I don't... It was like there was like a bit of tension, bit of triumphant, you know, like it a better musical score would have made the film better for me. I still liked it a lot. And yeah, I agree that there's some pacing issues. I think it took a while to get into the meat of the film from the beginning of it. But who knows, maybe now that I've watched it once, maybe the scenes in the first half will have more significance because I've seen the whole thing. Maybe, you know, maybe there'll be a lot more.
Because that first viewing, it is kind of disjointed to like how it starts with like the ape stuff, and then it like jumps around to the dad dying, and it's like kind of all over the place, but it does kind of nicely come together. So the fact I am kind of so eager to see it again, though, is like always a good sign. And it's just got so many like cool details in it. Like I really liked how they used that kind of tying in that clip from like the military that like came out a few years ago with like that weird disc like in the ocean, and kind of tying that in, and just the whole animal side of it.
I liked how it disabled cameras, and like it had some EMP thing. Like it's very practical, like why it was never photographed really at all.
Yeah, like all the electrics
and yeah, the way that ties into the plot. Yeah. They need a cinematographer with an analog camera, and like all that was so interesting. Like the process of like them trying to figure out how to outsmart the thing. Really great movie. Better Universal movie than Jurassic World Dominion, that's for sure.
Yeah, just a tad.
Bit more original.
Yeah.
So this is more like what I want to see, for sure. If Universal's listening,
yeah,
definitely.
Oh yeah. Universal, make Nope too.
Make like original movies. Like it could be about anything. Just don't make Jurassic World movies.
Universal, make a Jordan Peele clone. You have the technology.
I think the Daniels signed a deal with Universal, so they're making stuff with them.
Oh, really?
Now. Yeah, I think so.
No
like
way.
3-picture
they have
deal.
A deal with Universal.
I think
now?
so. Something like that. I'll double check, but yeah, pretty sure. So yeah, they got like a lot of cool people working for them, and Nolan. You know.
Yeah,
it's funny you mention that awful Jurassic Park movie. Cause...
Nolan's just spiteful against Warner Brothers.
That's how you know he's gonna make a good movie.
Yeah. No, but the original Jurassic Park, like it was kind of a similar theme going on with the like don't mess with nature, like the expectation turning something natural into like a theme park. And
yeah, right.
Then don't mess with the Zohan.
Continue on. Yeah, I will say though, the TMZ guy and the cameraman, the cinematographer, they were just a little bit too cartoonish for me. Mm-hmm. Like everything else was like seemed like fairly grounded. Like even the side character, called Alex or something.
Keke Palmer was a little cartoonish too, to an extent. I think that like their dynamic.
But she had such a chemistry with the lead.
Yeah, it was good chemistry.
And that really worked.
Yeah, she's very bubbly, bounced off.
That worked for me.
Daniel Kaluuya well.
But then when he comes in, and he's almost like from like an old western with his like the timbre in his voice.
Yeah,
and it's like kind of, I don't know. There's something about him, and then like screaming as hard as he could as he was like spinning the camera around and lifted into the bottom of the creature.
Yeah. Do you mean the guy from Fry's Electronics Store, like the other comedic relief? Yeah, he was fine. Like he was.
I was okay with him
too. He could have been much more like irritating in like this kind of movie, especially. But he was pretty well balanced. I like how he just like chooses to stick around. Like he like keeps bothering them, and they were like, "Oh, there's nothing we could do here." I mean, he's going to tell everybody. So yeah, he just wants to see.
Yeah, he's just like bored, and it's just kind of interesting.
I like how Kate from Euphoria was in there too.
Oh yeah, eating some Cheetos.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't know. But yeah, he like helps out too. Like he's the one, the Fry's Electronics guy. He's the one like discovers that the cloud is like in the same spot for like weeks or whatever, days.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't have much else to say. Like there's a lot going on there for sure. It was fun to watch it again. Like it's not like a chore to sit through again. It's very entertaining. I think that's the biggest thing. It's a very like, entertaining movie. I would recommend it to most people, I feel. And in some ways, it's like more accessible than like anything else he's made. I think it's definitely better than Us. Like you were saying, Alex, definitely better than that.
Yeah.
I think everyone has that opinion.
Oh, yeah? Okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah, everybody thinks it's better than Us.
Like even the political stuff's more subtle. Yeah, it's just like much more entertaining. I like when he works with Daniel Kaluuya, too. I think they work really well together, Jordan Peele and Daniel Kaluuya. Yeah, they're like Scorsese and...
Yeah, he's a great actor. I love his style.
Yeah, very different character than Get Out also, and like most other characters he's played. So yeah, if you want to get into ratings, that's fine. I don't really have anything to say.
7 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd give it 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I rated it like a 7, but it's like a really high 7.
Mm-hmm.
On rewatch, it could probably easily go up to like an A or 4 star.
That's possible.
It's really interesting. And talking about it is just like there's a lot to like unpack, and like there's a lot to think about, and so many like memorable sequences. Like I'd happily watch it again just to see the execution of like the reveal of the ship like unfolding, and just the design of it,
scene.
And the freaky way it looks. Yeah, and that like it is disturbing stuff.
Yeah. A lot of mysteries left unanswered. Like, I don't feel like I understand the movie anymore, like, after this conversation, which is a good thing.
In a satisfying way. You don't feel like you're, like, blue-balled. It's like you get just enough. Just learning that it's, like, an animal, you can kind of assume and get a lot of the fear from that.
Partly, own. But you actually, like, think about the movie when it's over. You don't just, like, oh, all right, I figured it out.
Yeah, because it's trying to say so much.
Yeah, I figured it out. I moved on. Yeah, really cool movie. Much better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, same.
All right. That was a nope.
You want to talk about Black Phone or news stories?
We could.
Yeah.
How much do we have to say about... I think we have... You know what? Fuck it. We're going to talk about Black Phone.
Yeah, I want to hear what you guys
Black
said.
Phone starring Ethan Hawke. It's a Blumhouse film. And from what I've seen in our ratings, we all kind of have different opinions, so this should be really fun.
That's why. I liked it more than you guys, I think. I don't like. I'm not in love with it.
I can't even remember the film, let alone what I rated it. Like it was such a just non-experience.
I think you rated it like a fucking half star or some shit.
Yeah,
I think you rated it like.
Nah, it wasn't that. It wasn't that extreme.
Yeah, it was low.
It was 1.5 star.
1.5.
It was 1.5 star. So pretty harsh.
Yeah. Well, I could start like my criticisms of it. So like to match you guys. Was just like the dialogue, I think, was like one criticism I had, that they didn't sound like kids in that time. They sounded like adults. It's like
in the
giving
first
exposition.
20 minutes particularly.
Well, there's just like so many walk and talk sequences with like the sister character and the brother character. She's like blah 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 blah. Like, it's just like a bunch of like exposition.
Constantly saying the character names.
Yeah, there's like really corny parts with like the kid with the bandana or whatever in the bathroom. Like with the bullies and
that's Pinball Pete.
Yeah, they're just like trying to give you all this information, and not in a subtle way. Like like how Get Out or like how Nope did it, like, you know, very subtly giving you the exposition but working in jokes and like character moments and like really good actors. I don't think there are like any actors alive who could have delivered this dialogue and made it sound like convincing, especially like anyone under like 21 or like a young actor.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
But they were also giving it to kid actors. That was like what I couldn't get into it, mostly because of that. Like
it's a real rough first 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel
it's a real rough parts and
yeah, and it's like it's so weird because it's not. I don't think it's not like a bad movie to me. There are parts of it that are like solid for sure. And then like even when the acting starts getting better, when the little girl is like reacting, you know, she's having an argument with the father character and he's like threatening to beat her and she's like, I'll drop the vodka bottle. Like she seems like she's doing a great job, but again, the writing, even I believe within that scene that like the dad's just like force feeding this exposition where he's like, your mother had visions and you're having them too and it's not real. And it's just like, boy, like, I want like it just while I'm appreciating the child actor being a bit better, it's like, ugh, dialogue.
Yeah, it seemed like it was trying to do a Stephen King thing.
It's such a weird scene, that movie. I feel like tonally it was off from like the rest of what was going on, which is a little more like cheesy. And that was like really disturbing, I thought, that scene of like him abusing his kid. I'm like, I don't know. Like the whole audience was kind of like uncomfortable at that part. Maybe that's the point. Yeah. But this is a Blumhouse horror movie too.
I like movies that kind of go a bit hard, even though this kind of did but didn't.
That was probably the best scene.
Yeah, that's one of the better scenes in terms of the acting there. Yeah. But like where they took that dad character, I wasn't really a fan of. Like in other scenes, he's just like a normal dad. I guess that's kind of how alcoholics are. They're very like bipolar. Like they just fucking snap like that. But it was just like at the end of the movie, he's like begging for forgiveness, or I don't know if we're in spoilers, but like, you know, that end scene is like, there's supposed to be some kind of arc there with his kids. And I'm like, oh, I don't really know if that works for me at all. It's like that, all that shit with like the dad. And yeah, there's like a lot of weird directions the plot goes in that kind of go nowhere, that are kind of weird. I guess I can get more into now.
Yeah.
It's not like an official review.
The girl didn't do anything and her psychic powers didn't really matter.
Exactly. Like the whole Shining part of the story.
They changed nothing about the outcome. And I think the reason why that is, somebody said in my comments section, like it's based off of a short story that didn't have her in it and it wouldn't be long enough to make a movie. So they just made half the movie about her psychic shit.
Oh, okay.
And that influenced nothing.
Yeah, what did she even do? She like found the house.
I was confused by the supernatural element.
I was too.
She found the house that the other kids were buried in. And then they did the whole, you know, expectation reverse thing. And the cops are going in and you think he's going to get saved. And then they're like, well, looks like there's nothing here. Oh, wait, there's a basement.
Yeah.
And then, oh, wait, it's the basement has just dead kids' bodies, nothing else. And there's nobody there. And then it's like, oh, he had two properties across the street from each other. Which is funny.
And his brother was visiting. Yeah. It was like some Silence of the Lambs type reveal where like they go to the wrong house. It's like the same exact thing at the end of that movie. As far as like Ethan Hawke, like I get like what the Ethan Hawke character is trying to do, like keeping the kid in the basement and like toying with him, like they play a game where like the kid tries to escape and, you know, like he catches the kid and brings him back inside, but it just went on for too long to I felt it was like unrealistic to a degree. I'm like, why doesn't he just like kill him, like, or like do something? It's just like it goes on for so long.
It's because he enjoys the fucking toying with him sort of thing. Because he's a fucking pervert or something. I don't know.
He said it's some kind of game. Yeah, it's not really clear like what's going on with that character. And I guess also his brother was visiting, but that was all really silly. Iggy from The Wire is visiting him.
Yeah, the brother stuff just appears out of nowhere.
Well, it makes it really weird because at the beginning of the movie, Finney, and his name, he says like, who who are they? Like, I don't remember what he did. But he did some verbal trick where he found out that there's more than one person. He's like, oh, so there's more than one person here. And he's like, meh. Well, I've soundproofed the basement so he won't hear. And it's like, okay, that's weird. And so that turned out to be the brother character. And he's, Ethan Hawke is explicitly talking about how he soundproofed the basement for this. But then, like, a core part of the movie is the whole, like, oh, he leaves the door open as a trick and sleeps upstairs on the main floor.
I didn't even think
and
about
waits
that.
for the kid to come there. But it's like,
It's a huge risk, right?
yeah, and so all the other kids, like, I guess the brother wasn't visiting when he did that to the other kids or something, whatever. But still, I don't know, like, what are you planning on doing, dude? Like, you're still playing that game where it's like, oh, I'm waiting for the kid to come up on the main floor. But you said the basement's soundproofed. The main floor clearly isn't, because the dog was barking through the door when he tried to escape. We literally hear the brother yelling through the door, like, at the end of that scene, and he's like, it was just nothing, blah, blah, blah. Like, he heard something. Like, I don't know why he's insisting on playing this weird game when he could just keep the
kid in the basement. Yeah,
that's weird. It's very silly. Like, sure,
Right.
the guy's crazy. You can always, like, kind of just dismiss anything by saying that.
If he killed the kid, if he killed the brother. Right. If he killed the brother in the basement, again, it's soundproof. Like, the other brother wouldn't have heard it upstairs. Like, this is so much that's, like, confusing about how that's all set up, and not in a good way. I feel, not in, like, how Nope
Yeah.
And
set all that up.
it seems like it's. I wish there was a bit more feeling of consistency in the movie, because, the Ethan Hawke wakes the kid up and he's just, like, sitting, like, near his bed. He's like, I was watching you sleep. I'm a fucking pervert or something. And when you set that level of expectation up, then you're
Was
kind of
he a
thinking,
pervert? I don't know.
it doesn't matter. I'm just,
It's just like, yeah.
You scary mask man.
It was kept, like, so vague, though. Like, I didn't know what was going on with him.
His whole thing is just the mask, basically.
Yeah.
you're setting up levels of expectation that he'll be, like, I guess, keeping an eye on things, or, that he might watch him sleep again at some point or something. That wouldn't be the only time. But then the rest of the movie, like, the kid's tearing apart the entire basement, and he never notices it. Like, he never notices that, like, the fucking window panel thing's missing, or that he's, like, digging holes in the walls in the toilet and shit. Like, it's just weird.
Yeah.
And there's so much implied passage of time, and it seems like Ethan Hawke only set foot in the basement just at that tiny bit at the beginning, and then just to give him food, and then at the end of the movie, and that's it. It's just like, oh shit, like, it's really kind of convenient,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, like, a lot of the horror moments, the scares, they just came across as kind of funny to me. Like, there's that one where there's one of the, like, dead kids communicating with the main character, and he, like, suddenly, like, is yanked into, like, the background, and just, like, the timing, this almost got, like, a comedic timing to it. I was just like,
I don't even remember.
it's, like, supposed to be, like, scary. It was like, it just really wasn't landing for me.
Those ghosts or whatever were only there for the audience, right? Because like, the kid didn't really see them. It's just, like, there for the audience to be like, oh, it's a ghost kid.
I wish it was a voice on the phone.
Yeah, that
It
would have
started
been
out as a
Yeah.
voice on the phone,
Yeah.
and that was creepy. I thought that worked well.
Yeah,
the
that
fact
would've
that they
been
had to,
better.
like, show them was weird. And then in terms, it's so weird because it's completely contradictory to what I would like to see in this movie, so that I would feel more scared about the villain and know what the consequences are. Is, like, there was no opening death scene. This is, like, the first Blumhouse film that decided not to have an opening death scene. So they're showing the already dead kids, like ghost kids, on the phone when it would be scarier as a voice, and then they don't show any of the actual deaths of the kids, any of the, like, here's why you're supposed to be scared of the villain. That's a pretty standard setup for, like, horror movies, like, and not every horror movie has to be the same.
And
but
that could have filled some of the time.
it's bizarre that this is the one where they didn't do
that
that, and
could've
it's like,
filled more
oh,
time.
it just so happens that all the cast members are children. Like, okay, grow some fucking balls, Jason Blum. Not even your movie. Fucking
Yeah.
director of what was it called?
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, what was the other horror
same
movie they
director
made
as
with
that.
Ethan
Scott
Hawke?
Derrickson.
Yeah.
Sinister.
Thanks.
Yeah,
I
Sinister.
like that one a
That's the
little more. I like the film parts in that movie.
Yeah, I much prefer Sinister over this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did not like Sinister.
Yeah, it does feel, well, they're both like average horror movies to me, or like a bit above average, because they have like some cool parts. But like, you're right, Alex. There's like so many parts that just feel like kind of filler. It's like they're just padding out time. The opening of the film, like the opening credits, it was like a Netflix show or something. It's like, Blumhouse present.
Yeah, and I gotta admit, part of it for me is like, this film was getting like pretty good kind of coverage. Like, it's got like a 7 on IMDb.
Well, yeah, for a Blumhouse horror movie, it's actually decent. It's better than Texas Chainsaw Massacre that came out this year that they made.
The crossover in terms of like the one of the most common comments I got of people being mad that I liked Men is also saying that I didn't like The Black Phone. They're like, this guy gave Men an 8 and The Black Phone a 5. Like, as if that's like an insult to me. That's so funny. Like, this was the one. This was the one that's like, oh yeah, I'm so crazy for liking Men because I don't like this one as much. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the movies like Nope or Men, they leave you thinking in some way. There's just, it's kind of hollow to me. Like that, like, yeah, it's playing with all these kind of ideas, but
this is not a watch more than once movie, for sure.
Oh yeah, no, I'll never see this again. Like, I genuinely haven't thought a single thought about this movie since I watched it. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, the whole like mask thing, and I needed more reasons to be scared.
I wasn't really familiar with who directed this until after, and so by the end of it, I was like, this is pretty good for someo's first movie, and then I realized they directed like 6 other movies, and shit. I guess,
oh yeah, he's been working at Hollywood for a long time. Yeah.
The guy.
Right. That's why it's weird he made like a horror movie. I guess they make money. Fucking motorcycle coming by.
I mean, it's not, I don't think it was a high budget. It's like a, you know, that's part of the Blumhouse model, you know? Don't spend a lot, but
yeah,
the return is like decent.
Yeah, I guess.
Black Phone budget. Yeah, not much at all. 16 million.
Like, yeah, so it's about like child abduction. It should be horrifying, like Rome or something. That's scary.
I didn't
Prisoners,
like Rome. Yeah.
like all these movies. I liked it more than this. Like, at least it's
I
like
didn't
consistent.
like The Room. Tommy Wiseau.
Oh yeah, sorry, that's what I meant.
I did like the like abduction scene with the brother character. That was like kind of well done to me. If there's like anything I like about it, like, I don't know, it was just very quick, and I feel like there's like some imagery there that still kind of sticks with me. At the same time, there's like, didn't he like spray paint his mouth, or like put some kind of like,
yeah,
it was like Mad Max Fury Road when he's like you know, like they're going to Valhalla or whatever. It's spraying them in the face with like the gray silver stuff. It like reminded me of that also.
It was a chemical or something. I liked the look of the room that he's in with the black phone. I thought that it was cool.
Yeah,
just with,
I liked
like,
all that stuff
yeah,
too.
The ceiling being so tall
Yeah.
and the walls kind of reminding me of like this rustic, decayed, like Silent Hill thing. Is rustic even the right word? Rusted?
Mm-hmm.
Are those the same definition?
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Rusted and
Okay,
rustic, I think, are different. I do like the focus on the one location.
But yeah, the child actors were not bad. It's just the dialogue sucked.
It was the dialogue.
Yeah.
It was really the dialogue that was like bad about it, right?
Yeah.
I do like the setting. Like that's like kind of a creepy setting, like the 80s. You know, kids like just kind of walked around, like did whatever they wanted. Yeah, they had like abusive parents like that. So like there was like something going on with the setting and yeah, like the one location. I do appreciate like an original horror movie. It's a cut above Blumhouse's other stuff. But yeah, there's like all these problems, like, you know, that I had with it too. I'm like, yeah, it's a good horror movie. I just wish I liked it as much as like other people did. And I would like recommend it to like a crowd, like a general audience. I feel like it's a good like I feel like it's a decent horror movie for like a general audience. It's just not really what I'm looking for. It needed like a bit more of a like an edge to it. You know, or like more blood, or like some more like really disturbing parts. Like,
Yeah,
like Ethan Hawke character's like too
some kind of
vague.
through
Like
line.
if they had made him like more perverted, that would have at least been like memorable or something. That I would have like, oh shit, this guy's like crazy, but he's just like an average like killer. Like, I don't know. There's nothing that really stood out to him.
Yeah, that's what I mean about most of the fear just coming from his like costume design. I think that's what like kind of is supposed to carry it, like the creepy mask thing. But that, I don't know. I don't know. There's something about that just isn't on its own. It's like not enough. If
the unpredictability too carried it for me because I didn't know anything about it going in. So I'm like, is Ethan Hawke like a ghost? Like, what is this whole like paranormal element? Like, especially with the sister. But then once it gets to the end, it's like, oh, okay, that didn't really go anywhere. It's like, I guess the ghost kids were talking to her, trying to get them to find the body. Yeah, it was like that had nothing to do with like how the brother was found, or like the brother's like across the street. Yeah, and it's like he's like doing his own B plot or something. Yeah, I don't know. It's like a lot going on there, I guess. But I also just don't find ghosts very scary. Also,
yeah, me neither.
Maybe some people
they can be.
I'm sure if like you're scared of ghosts, yeah, I guess it just depends how you do it. Like, but you know, I bet if you're terrified of ghosts or whatever, you think they're real, you'd be like, oh my god, this movie is like Ghost Kids. Is holy shit.
But yeah, it depends if we're talking about ghost or like just paranormal horror, because like paranormal horror can, you know, it could be like, I don't know, caused by a ghost or something, you know, like there can be like kind of fantasy horror things that happen like in a paranormal way.
Yeah, right.
Like even Houseu is like, I don't know, is that ghost like being eaten by a piano is kind of scary. Like what's going on there?
That's all allegorical. Like even Nope, you could take it like as allegorical also.
Yeah, with
like the creature. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know.
I'm going to read a comment that somebody left on my that Uncle Dane left on my review for this film, saying, I find it pretty strange that mainstream horror films are still afraid to show a kid getting killed on screen when Hereditary, It, and to an extent A Quiet Place, some of the most successful horror films of the last 10 years, center their entire plot around a kid getting horribly killed on screen in the first act. I think, like, yeah, I kind of agree with that. Like, it does seem kind of bullshitty and cowardly when the entire the entire selling point of the movie, or the entire I guess implication of the movie is like, you have these children characters, one of them's a main character, and in order for the fear tension elements to work, you have to believe that they're in some sort of danger, right? You have to believe that there might be some risk of them dying in the film, and if you don't have, if you're not willing to show that happening to any of the side characters, if you're not willing to show that happening to like anybody, then it's like, well, you can't really prove that the risk is there. Like, you're not showing.
You're told it's a threat instead of showing it.
That's why horror movies have an opening death, is to show you like, this is what the killer's capable of. Like at the very first part of It Follows, you see like, oh my god, that's a mangled body right there. You don't see exactly them being killed, but you see like you get a pretty graphic image of like, oh my god, like you have to fill in some things with your mind, and that makes the rest of It Follows scary. If it didn't show that, like, then a walking person towards the screen wouldn't be as scary. But because you're like, oh god, there's like something really crazy and fucked up happened here, like, right? Otherwise, like, I don't know, just dead bodies, there was nothing particularly graphic or imaginative about the dead kids that they showed in Black Phone. It was just like, we're ghosts. Like, they looked like your average ghost, and like they could have been taken from fucking Haunting of Hill House or something. Like, they could have been taken from another property. Like, I don't know. Like,
it definitely would have benefited from like a little stinger at the beginning of like Ethan Hawke killing like one of the kids, and then you see his missing poster later. That definitely would have been
I don't know, like a mangled body at the very least. Like a dead body, not like a talking like body with dead person makeup. Like a dead body, right?
Yeah,
there's a huge difference between that.
Yeah, something to establish the stakes a bit better.
Yeah, there's a reason why it's such a trope in horror movies. It's because it's borderline necessary, depending on the type of horror movie you're making.
Mm-hmm. But and yeah, there's just like all that exposition, just explaining it instead, and
Cowards.
It's like so boring to sit through. It's like you could have just like, we could have seen all that happen, or cowards. Yeah, it's too sanitized, really.
Show me dead children.
Show me something. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, show me something that ain't the Black Phone, please.
Yeah, I there are parts that I liked. I think that like the acting from the children, depending on the scene, was like pretty exceptional and like much better. Like there's a couple of these kids, the brother and sister character, right? Like those, I would hope that they get like a good career and are in more things, because given the right script and dialogue, like they can clearly do something with that. That's something I really appreciate. I don't think the film looked bad visually for the most part. You know, like
that too. Yeah. I like the look of it. I saw the sister character in The Gray Man, so she's getting like work and other things. I'm like, oh, that's good.
That
yeah, it's not a great movie either.
And I can at least say in like the middle chunk of the film, which is like the meat of the film, the kids in the thing trying to get out, it was compelling to me. It was like, oh, it's a nice kind of like escape room, you know, Jigsaw, not quite, but like, you know, I like the mystery of like, how do I get out of this one? Blah, 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 blah. You know, uncovering little secrets and stuff. Like, that was fun. And getting the phone calls, like, yeah, I didn't hate my experience watching the film, but I will say, first 20 minutes, pretty horrendous. Last 5 minutes, pretty funny. And it has a lot of problems.
Yeah,
man, I just couldn't with this. I do agree. It does have some interesting ideas, some interesting concepts. I do like the imagery of the black phone on the wall and how much of this is real and what he's imagining. But then they do just throw out this brother character, the supernatural elements. You're just not given enough. I can't be doing with the telling instead of showing. And just when it attempts the horror in not landing for me, and just kind of more humorous at times, and
I hear you.
This is just not for me. There's something about horror movies like this.
The brother character, that was really silly.
Yeah,
especially because I just kept thinking it was Ziggy from The Wire. It's the same actor.
Oh yeah, he does look a bit like it. Yeah,
he is Ziggy. I don't know if you've seen The Wire.
Oh,
I need to watch it still.
Did you not? Yeah,
I didn't even twig because I recognize he's like an It, right? Oh shit, I didn't even.
Yeah, right. I was just gonna double check. I'm almost positive.
No, you're probably right. No, it's that's weird.
Yeah, it's just it's such an odd. I guess I'm glad he's getting to work.
I'm giving this one a 5 out of 10. Bunch of problems. That's appreciated some things about it. I think it is fair. I'm a very fair person.
Yeah. For like a crowd pleaser, I thought it was fine. Like the crowd seemed to enjoy it. The friend I saw it with really enjoyed it. I'm like, okay. Maybe I was like, maybe more. I would think I was persuaded by that, and also the fact that I hadn't seen Nope yet, which is much better.
Perfectly honest.
So it's still a 6, but I still don't hate the film. I thought it was decent enough. I'm just like, I like an original horror movie.
I thought it was going to annoy me to no end. I thought before going into this movie, I thought like this is going to be like the most miserable bullshit. I thought it was going to be like one of those things where like every 5 seconds they were doing something to just like annoy me, like fucking A Quiet Place or something. But I enjoyed it more than I thought I would.
No, there's like some clever stuff going on, but yeah, there's like, I don't know, it needed like a little more work on it, like the scripts or the dialogue especially. It was just like so much exposition. It was like really kind of dumb at points.
I found like once I was about an hour in and I'm like checking my watch, like I can't connect with any of these characters. I can't connect with the scares. I need something to attach myself to, and I couldn't with this. I'm glad people are enjoying it, but this is a no-go for me. 1.5 star. I'm not fair with this one.
Good.
All right. It is time for the film that was recommended by Alex.
Yes.
Take it away.
Yeah, going back to Nope and the nice kind of neo-western. Nope's not really like that much of a western. It's got some vague kind of western imagery, but Brokeback Mountain was my choice. Was that 2005? 2005.
Yeah.
Ang Lee.
Gemini
the
Man.
Basic story is
the Hulk.
He's made some interesting films, huh?
Yeah.
A lot of variety.
introducing like the Marvel characters to the big screen in a major way.
Yeah, he made this right after the Hulk, I think. Like this was like
maybe
years
next
after.
success.
But yeah, unlike the Hulk, this is pretty masterful right here. But the basic plot is basically about the injustice of how two men's lives are gradually torn apart due to general attitudes and circumstances that are out of the control of the lead characters, and the tragedy that follows. These are two sheep wranglers starting in 1963 and unfolding their lives, and the ultimate tragedy of it and the sadness of it. I'd always heard this movie. I hadn't seen it until watching it for this episode, and it always kind of been reduced to the gay cowboy movie. That's how it was always advertised. How people
it's a gay cowboy movie.
would describe it as. But
Is it wrong?
That's how I describe it.
I guess it's not wrong, but it's.
No, I know what you mean.
I feel like it cheapens it to reduce it just to that. It's saying quite a lot, and it's a really complicated emotionally, movie and story. Like it's a truly fucked up central conflict where there's no real villainous characters or anything like that. It's just about people falling in love in a time where it just simply wasn't acceptable, and just the statement of that.
Depending on where you live, it's still pretty bad.
Well,
Yeah. In 2005, the climate of films, major films, something that would appear in theaters, is for a long time, gay characters were just used comedically, if anything. And so that's why inevitably, even if you release something that's genuine and heartfelt, featuring two gay characters that you're supposed to take seriously, of course it's going to become a joke. And I grew up, around that time, being in school when this movie was released. It was essentially the punchline of every joke. It was essentially, not even just with school children in mainstream, television and comedy. The punchline of a joke would be Brokeback Mountain, and it would be haha, it's funny because it's gay. And I think, just with things that people are confused about or unfamiliar with or scared of or weirded out by, normal instinctual kind of responses from human beings is just to treat it humorously. Some people have that reaction with issues like death, where people, turn something into a joke. I do that with some issues, so it's kind of inevitable, and I don't necessarily fault people in a way of oh, you're a bad person if you've ever used Brokeback Mountain as a joke, or if you can't take it seriously because they're gay. But I think it is just I think it is a part of our human cultural social evolution, and this is an important milestone in a sense. This film.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and just from the starting point of having the characters are cowboys, which is such a comically traditionally kind of masculine type of character, especially in cinema. Mm-hmm. Having them be the lead and exploring sexuality in this way with that kind of framing is really interesting to me. It's it's so subtle, it's so well executed. I'm curious what your initial thoughts are, Ralph.
Yeah, it's a very mainstream film. So it's bound to get that kind of stuff when it came out. I'd say it's kind of a groundbreaking film, a game changer in terms of that, and introducing an audience to it's a gay movie. It's definitely about gay people, and but I like how you described it, Alex. It's there's other things going on. It's it's about how society basically drives them apart. And like there's these other ways of looking at it. Just speaking from like the performances, I thought they were really great, especially Heath Ledger. He was like really good in the movie. I was like, wow, he's such a fucking great actor. Like, he has like this the way he carries himself and his voice. I'm like, yeah, he's great in this. And Jake Gyllenhaal too, and everybody. But it was like mainly him. He like really blew me away. Blew me. He was really great in the movie. I'm gonna make gay jokes, but like it's a great movie. I feel
more like Bareback Mountain. Am I right?
Fuck. There's so many jokes to make, yeah. Because it's such like a huge film, such a mainstream hit. Got like Oscars or at least like nominations, I think. And
it won.
I really like the score as well.
No,
Yeah,
that
I
was
think
one of the
so.
dramas, right? Because it's on top of the inherent nature of it ushering in like a gay movie of this scale and this kind of success. It lost to Crash at the Oscars. So.
Yeah, I was looking at
much better movie than that.
Those Best Picture noms, and I have yet to see Capote, but I don't think the other two would be better than Brokeback if I watch them. We'll see, but yeah, Crash. Brokeback's a lot better than Crash. Let's say that pretty definitively for most people, I think.
Yeah, that was a real snub from them. That's one of the worst picks like that I could think of from the Oscars was Crash. Ang Lee won.
Yeah,
so that was
director.
Good. For
Best Adapted Screenplay and Best Music, which I'm happy about. Remember,
the music's great.
Yeah, this is from Gustavo Santaolalla, who did The Last of Us, whose soundtrack.
Oh,
who did?
I didn't even know that. That's why it sounded like The Last of Us.
And
I kept thinking of it.
Most of Iñárritu's films, he also scored.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amoris Paros. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I always feel like for the Oscars anyway, usually the best writing category is usually the best film. Like whatever they pick for best screenplay. That's usually how I feel. Oh yeah, this is definitely
Promising Young Women.
Not always. Usually Tarantino's win. I don't even know if Tarantino's won for directing, but he's won for writing.
Yeah.
I usually agree with those.
Oh, won Best Film at the BAFTAs. So
The what?
No one cares about those.
Well, Alex, every year in a silly little country, they have a pretend Oscars.
Yeah, that's how it fucking feels.
Very different for Ang Lee too. He's usually an action director. It's, very stylized stuff. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Life of Pi.
Yeah, I haven't seen all of his filmography. I think I saw Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon like a long time ago, and I would, I couldn't comment on it without like rewatching it. But I think like I haven't seen Lust, Caution, but that's kind of like a romance thriller or something. Yeah, is it? Yeah, drama, history, romance. That's okay. That's one. That's not necessarily. Somebody told me that one of his earlier films was also LGBT related, but I don't remember which one, and I didn't see it. But someone was mentioning that to me. Either way, I think it's kind of incredible. Like the film is really great, but having this be a decent budget, big, name director, like actual studio. I think it was like Focus Features or something. But there's
named actors who aren't gay.
There's people putting their faith in this project when at the same time, like I don't know, like 2005. You're still kind of pushing the boundaries in terms of like whether or not it will help or hurt your career. There was no telling really whether or not this would be something that like audiences would have like backlash for in terms of like your career from that point forward. Because there wasn't a lot like this.
No,
in mainstream especially. Like this is a pretty unique movie in that sense. Like even since then, like how many Have there been any like real major like gay romance stories? Like, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like, have there
One,
been?
like here or there,
Really?
like I Love You, Philip Maurice, Milk. A couple.
I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry. Yeah.
Yeah, not quite like this.
Yeah, but like Milk is like a biopic of like a political figure who was gay. And it's like, yeah, I guess there were like there was a romantic subplot in that, I think. I don't remember, but like this is like truly just at its core like a major production about two men that love each other, and that's what the movie really is. And it's difficult to make, a movie about two gay lovers that doesn't also have political statements to make about like homophobia. It's kind of like engraved in the subject matter because that's real life.
Especially that they are like cowboys.
Yeah, especially the time period.
Culture.
But it adds so much to the
period,
story, and there's so much more to say with that angle too. It would be interesting to see something like this that has those same elements present and things that you can chew on in terms of like characters and how broken they are and how society's affected them. But it would be interesting to see something that isn't so like sad, because this is spoilers. We're gonna get into spoilers. The ending's like really sad. Like, this is a sad movie. This is like kind of a depressing movie. It's great. But,
it has to be though. It makes it so poignant. It makes it so powerful. Like, that's one of the things I loved about it most, was how the first like 30-40 minutes or so is like really like relaxing and like it's so idyllic, and these like landscapes and these like colors, and it's all like nature, and there's this like really like beautiful relationship like forming in front of you. And then you get to that scene where Heath Ledger like talks about what his dad showed him as a kid, and it's like reminding you of like what time period they're in, and it's like this kind of foreshadowing for what Heath Ledger's character thinks happens to Jake towards the end, which is like the execution of just getting like how downplayed it is, just getting the postcard, ringing up Anne Hathaway, and just what the character has to go through in that moment.
Yeah,
and how he has
it's
to
really
just be so like
his
reserved
experience.
and and it's just the ultimate tragedy. It's heartbreaking. It's horrifying.
Yeah, it's like a gigantic part of that tragedy is, thematically, like this touches on similar elements to a film like Synecdoche in New York, where a huge part of the tragedy is like loss and regret over like wasted time, because he was scared. Like, Heath Ledger's character is a character who primarily lives their life based around fear, and we see that drilled into him at that young age, and you see like the father's hand gripping his shoulder as he's showing him that gay person's dead body, essentially like raising him to be like, hey, if you turn out this way, we're gonna fucking kill you. Like, don't do this, we're gonna kill you, like literally. And then inescapably, because we're human beings and no one can control their own desires, no one can control what they like or what they're attracted to. He grows up, he realizes internally that he is that way, and then we get these like tiny clues about his overall behavior throughout the entire film. Like, we see a lot of scenes with Heath Ledger's character communicating and talking, but it's what we don't see off screen and what they allude to that really informs us about how his character truly is. One of the first pieces of dialogue that we get with Jake Gyllenhaal and Heath Ledger is he's commenting and saying, like, this is the most you've talked this entire time you've been out here, and he says, like, this is the most I've talked all year. And we realize like how reserved he is, and we don't see a lot of scenes with him being so silent because it's a narrative, and it's already like 2.5 hours long or something, 2 hours 20. But with that information, we can read in so much about like, wow, this guy is keeping everything about himself inside, and he's able to share it, and he's able to let it out with this other character, and he's driven by fear and just reserved throughout the entire rest of his life. It's really kind of heartbreaking and sad.
And yeah, just the way they communicate like time passing as well to accentuate just like how it is a lifetime kind of like of pain, like stretched out. Just so subtle with the costumes, the technology, the vehicles. They never like they don't put like huge text on the screen like 4 years later or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And it goes by so fast too, but it's communicated so well. It's another synecdoche New York-ism, like it's just.
And there was a lot of really good use of just communicating the like lead character's emotions through the environment. Like one of my favorites was when Heath Ledger snaps at that when they're at the fireworks and it's like the fireworks projected behind him. Well, yeah, that was probably my favorite shot in the movie. But yeah, just beautiful. And I was reading up about a surprising amount of visual effects in there. Like some of the sheep was CG, and I didn't even notice like any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it was pretty seamless.
Yeah, that's those are some of my favorite visual effects. Is when you don't know that they're there.
That's Ang Lee. Yeah, that's what's cool about Ang Lee. He's like really great, visual effects director to where you don't even see that kind of thing, and yet it's like a drama. He usually works with like animals and like really complicated like scenes to film, but like with Life of Pi and the Lion, and this with all the sheep stuff. And it's pulled off like perfectly. Yeah.
There's the way that passage of time is communicated in this film is like really well done. Obviously the children growing up. And then, you get into more detailed parts where it's like the divorce happening and they say the date. But at no point does it ever feel like, oh, that's a little forced. Like, we're just talking about the black phone and how the exposition is just so like, you can tell that that's what it's for, but it doesn't serve another purpose. And it's just like, I wish you just handled that better. Whereas in this film, like every bit of exposition is like, this is what they would say. It feels like real characters talking. There's like good excuses for it narratively, and the exposition can come from the existing narrative that already has its own excuse for being there. So yeah, it's just the writing is really, really great.
Yeah, dialogue's very natural.
Yeah, always manages to dodge any kind of melodrama. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it all feels very real and genuine.
I wonder what else these two have written. Let's see.
Because it is based on a short story, isn't it?
Yeah, but then the screenplay is from Larry McCurdy, who died in 2021, but they also wrote an adaptation of Terms of Endearment, 1983. Not a lot of stuff I recognize. And then the other writer, Diana Osana, has written one other major film that looks really bad. It's called Joe Bell, that came out recently. Mark Wahlberg. It looks very funny bad, actually.
Joe Bell, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it looks really bad. So, yeah, like, fucking incredible writing, but just, like, not, we're not going to see a lot more from those two, I guess.
Yeah.
Damn. We're not going to see any more Heath. Like, fucking Jesus. It was crazy watching this film and just being like, I can't believe watching his character, like, that this is the same guy as, like, the Joker. Because there's just such insanely different performances. They're just, they're different people. Like, what an incredible character actor.
Yeah, lots of range.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. His accent felt very, like, authentic to me. Like, the way he talks.
There's so much authenticity in this film.
Yeah.
And
it's, like, really good.
We can talk about this another episode, but I finished watching Prey, like, the day before I watched this, and that was something I was really missing from Prey, is, like, they... on paper, they tried to do the whole, like, oh, well, this is the first movie to have a dub from Comanche, and we used people that are actually Native American. But it still feel like the entire thing feels so inauthentic. They're, like, speaking English, and, like, the acting is like, and, like, she looks like she got fresh out of makeup every single scene. I'm like, you don't really look like you live outdoors. And, like, whereas, like, this movie, like, everything about it just felt, like, super authentic. Like, it felt real. It felt genuine. It didn't feel like, you know, actors. It felt like characters. It felt like people. It felt like situations. It felt like a real story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is masterful. I was really impressed by this.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I found quite a good quote from the original author of that short story, who summarized it quite well, saying, "How different readers take the story as a personal reflection of their own personal values, attitudes, and hang-ups," which I think is quite a good kind of way to summarize.
Yeah.
Because obviously it would have been quite a, controversial reaction, especially in like certain parts of the world. It's, and there was another one I found actually that was almost kind of sad, from the author. She described it as a source of the film as a source of constant irritation in her private life. There are countless people out there who think the story is open range to explore their fantasies and to correct what they see as an unbearably disappointing story. They constantly send ghastly manuscripts and pornish rewrites of the story to me, expecting me to reply with praise and applause for fixing the story. They certainly don't get the message that if you can't fix it, you've got to stand it. Most of these fix-it tales have the character Ennis finding a husky boyfriend and living happily ever after, or discovering the character Jack is not really dead after all, or having the two men's children meet and marry, etc., etc. Which is like, we were talking about like media literacy like an episode or two ago, and it's like, this...
that fan writing is like awful.
Yeah, it's like, but if that's even crossing your mind, you're kind of like missing the entire point of the whole like.
Right. George Martin hates that kind of shit, like Game of Thrones. I bet most writers do.
Yeah.
It's just like insufferable. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm reading the wiki right now for the some of the reception when this film came out. Film critic
there's a whole category, isn't there?
Yeah, Gene Shalit of the Today Show described the character Jack Twist as a sexual predator who tracks Ennis down and coaxes him into sporadic trysts. Trysts, Trysts. I have no idea how to pronounce that. But like, that's kind of funny.
That's such like bad faith way to interpret the story.
yeah. And then the next line in the Wikipedia page is someone, the LGBT media group GLAAD said that his characterization of Twist was like calling Jack in Titanic a sexual predator due to his romantic pursuit of Rose. Even though it is when all you have to do is like change someone's gender, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh wait, that is really fucked up. It's like, okay, it was, and it still is. Like, yeah, like people have insane double standards and are very insecure about adults and their consensual behavior, and just their emotions and who people love. And yeah, there's unfortunately still quite a bit of homophobia that exists. There's people that exist that are, silent for a while, and then they hear the cue. They're like, oh, oops, looks like monkeypox is a thing now. I guess let's all be loud about our homophobia again.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess you're just hiding this whole time.
But yeah, that's what makes it such like a powerful movie. It's such a statement.
Yeah, this really connected with me, especially this time watching it. I'm not gonna say too much, but like my boyfriend's like in a situation where he's like not out to his like family, so yeah, it's something that still, just like affects me in a way where there's a lot of communities, in the United States, especially compared to Canada, where it's just like still, like unacceptable for people, and, people are willing to disown family members over like who they love, which is just kind of sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you
that is
like
a
grew up
problem.
in a more kind of progressive area, it's like a harsh reminder of like this has been going on a long time and it's still like a problem.
Yeah.
It's really fucked
Yeah.
up.
They have their own phobias. Yeah, and to some extent, that's always just going to be around people and their phobias, like just individuals. Just like, yeah, it's always going to, it's a sad reality. Yeah, it's like racism or anything else like that.
Yeah.
Like, do
When
the
you
right
have
thing.
like really, what's the word? Like
When you have
homogenous
different
communities where it's like,
Uh-huh.
the only example of a person that's not from in their group is this caricature that they've created in their head, or maybe the types of media they consume. Like, the people who hate black people the most are people who have like never met black people or like have had a bad experience with one and live with like 99% like white people or something. Same thing with gay people, same thing with trans people. Like statistically, like you can look at the actual data and it shows that like the more that you're exposed to types of people that are not from your group, the more you're like, oh wait, they're just people. Who would have fucking thought? So that's a pretty consistent, verifiable, trackable thing. So yeah. So who knows? I mean, like you can say like, yeah, it'll always kind of be there, but I mean the world is shifting in a way where people are kind of forced to be exposed to the reality of other people existing, and that does help. And yeah, I get part of that is media, part of that is just existing on the planet
sure.
or in a city.
Media plays a huge part in it. Yeah. There's probably many people who just like rated this film 1 star or like 1 out of 10 because they just don't like that subject matter because they
Of
they
course.
don't want to watch gay
There'll be people
Yeah.
who just refuse to watch it on principle.
Or
Probably.
just refuse to watch it and rate it 1 star anyway. Yeah, and like write a bad review of it.
Yeah, my
Yeah, like, that happens. That happens the other way too. I mean,
my like legit, there are people that are so fucking insecure. One of my best friends, his family like hated me growing up because I'm gay. And his brother was like, told him like he can't watch a movie with like Heath Ledger in it because he was in Brokeback Mountain, because he just can't think of him like as a good character anymore. Like shit like that. It was like really fucked up. Like they were like,
Right.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
they were like,
It's actually insane.
they don't even realize what they're saying. Yeah.
they were giving him shit for like hanging out with me and stuff. So anyway, yeah, it's just,
yeah.
it's incredible just how insecure some people are. Like, holy shit, get over it. Like people exist. Like it's insane how
how does it actually
sensitive
affect you in
people are.
any way?
Like,
Yeah.
it, you're asking the world to cater towards your sensitivities. Like, do you not see that that's kind of like maybe something you should work on? I don't know.
But it's also just like a fundamental misunderstanding of the way like humans are, and it's like just because like thousands of years ago, humans like look up like what the Greeks were up to, man. Like it's
Yeah.
it's such a like myopic way to like
Yeah.
think about the way humans engage.
It's like total ignorance. Yeah. I mean, what I always say is like they're probably afraid of it because deep down inside they're gay and they don't want to admit it.
Some kind of repressed or suppressed.
Yeah, literally, like there's some kind of repressed feelings there. Exactly.
People can be like afraid of like the
Right.
possibility of that,
Yeah, you're not gonna watch a movie and then the movie's gonna make you gay. Like that's not how it works.
unless you're gay.
If you're gay already, the movie might unearth something in you that makes you
Yeah,
realize you're gay.
yeah.
But like a
And then it's
movie's
like,
not
yeah,
gonna
why are you
make you
afraid
gay.
of
You can't
that
be like,
possibility?
Yeah, that's what they're scared of, huh?
I hope this doesn't awaken something in me.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
yeah, that's a weird way to think about a movie, right? Yeah, like I watched like the Normal Heart when I was like 12 or 13 or like whenever the fuck it came out. It's like gay sex of that movie. I just like watched it. I'm like, oh, all right, that was a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't affect me or like at all, like that kind of thing. I watched it with my mom and she's like, oh my god. It's like
Oh, no.
it doesn't do anything. Like it's just a scene.
Yeah.
It's just like it's just like a straight sex scene in a movie. It's just a scene.
Yeah, I think by the age of 12, like people's sexualities are already like kind of hard coded inside them, like somewhere deep in the subconscious where you don't realize it.
I guess everyone's different, but yeah, it's like they're afraid of like I don't know, like I guess like the gay agenda. Like that's such a dumb term. Like that every movie's gonna be like that in the future.
Yeah,
some shit. But,
and again, it's like such a minority of films and characters.
Obviously, James Bond movies are still made, right? Like you still have James Bond movies that are like it's like a straight guy. It's like so clearly that's not gonna happen anytime soon.
Yeah, and I mean like then that that also implies that like heterosexual people in movies is an agenda too, right? Mm-hmm. Like if that would be the implication if that's how people's brains.
Yeah, exactly. It also implies it's like only heterosexuals working or only straight people working on like a James Bond movie. Like I bet gay people work on James Bond movies too. I bet like a gay guy could direct a James Bond movie would be fine. Yeah. Like that, it doesn't really matter. It's just a film. Like it's just about plugging in those elements. Really, it's like doing math. It's like it doesn't really matter who it is doing it. Really. Unless you want to make some kind of statement. Like, I don't think Ang Lee is gay, or I don't think these actors were gay, but they told the story well because it's a good story and they had passion for it. You know, they knew how to tell it. Yeah. And it was effective. I think it works.
It is a really good, very sad, heartbreaking story. Or just, you gotta, if you love someone, you gotta fucking make it work while you can, because nobody lives forever, and time slips through our fingers, and you don't want to spend the rest of your life living with regrets. So thinking about what could have been.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was a really great movie for me, and very close to home, especially recently. So I don't know if we have much more to say about it. I thought the cinematography was beautiful. Lots of beautiful Alberta skies. I know Jon Favreau might hate this movie. He thinks they're unrealistic. A little too lucky for real photography. So, yeah. John would have loved this movie if it had uglier skies. So, yeah. Performances all fantastic. Brave. Honestly, I know that's kind of a buzzword, but like literally, like they're kind of putting their careers on the line in a way,
Yeah.
All these two straight dudes just making out with each other on camera, but at the for the purpose of like a real dramatic story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's admirable.
And also, I also want to communicate one thing about the movie, because we kind of didn't really touch on this. Is like the film shows that they're not like the only victims in the story. Like Michelle Williams's character is like brutally tortured throughout her life as well. Like it hurts. Yeah. Heath Ledger's like internalized issues that are brought on by society are hurting himself and everyone around him. Like it's causing so much pain to so many people in the story. It's not just those two that experience tragedy. So I think that was an interesting way to tell the story, because in a way you could consider it risky. Like, okay, well, if these guys are like assholes and like cheating on their wife, they might think, some people might be like, okay, well, can I really empathize with them at that point? Like, are they bad people? But I think it makes sense to tell the story in this way, because these characters are all just victims of this circumstance of reality, of society, putting these pressures on them. Like Heath Ledger's character is scared, and he feels like he has to have a marriage and children with a woman. He feels like he has to do that to survive, and it's been literally like ingrained into him, like as a child, seeing a dead body, right? Like the amount of trauma that can embed in someone and can really shape how they behave their entire lives. So I thought it was really great.
Yeah, and every decision he's forced to make just hurts him more.
Mm-hmm. People are not perfect. They make mistakes for reasons. Yeah. Or they, they do things that might be messed up, or like that, cheating on Michelle Williams. But yeah, it makes sense. It's
But that's just great drama. That's such a compelling conflict. Like when that scene where she does she accidentally sees them like making out, and then like obviously like her world is kind of like finished. Like it is such a complicated scenario because like for her, it's the 60s. Like it was definitely also not socially acceptable to get a divorce or like she was like reliant on him for money. Like it's like a really complicated scenario, and you don't just instantly blame him because you also feel empathy for his situation because he's what is he supposed to do? And it's it's really, really sad.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I'm giving this one an 8 out of 10. I thought it was great. Love it. Really important, groundbreaking film that tells a great story. Love the music. Very appropriate. Even in the, transitionary scenes, like the tone helps the movie so much and it matches it perfectly. It accentuates. It's so bittersweet. Watching these characters as their lives progress so quickly in front of us, it's just perfectly captured by the music. I love it so much.
Yeah, great music.
Yeah, how it's used in the very ending scene, and with the shirt and that line, and then it ramps up louder, and it's just it's a lot. And I'd probably give it a 9, 4.5 stars. I was very impressed. And it's painful, but in the way that it needs to be to make such a strong kind of point.
It's kind of like a groundbreaking movie. Yeah, like you said. I'm gonna go with a 10. It's my first watch, but I think this is like considered a classic. I'm gonna go with a 10, and I'll probably watch it again sometime soon.
Yeah, I'm nearly there.
Yeah, this is a great movie. Yeah, this is one of Ang Lee's best, for sure. Yeah. Like easily one of his best movies. Yeah,
a little worse than Gemini Man, but
Gemini Man was cool.
Yeah, not quite as good as Gemini Man. 120 frames a second. This movie really needed to be 120 frames a second. That would have made it much better.
And not enough Will Smith. That's my one critique.
Yeah, it needed 2 Will Smiths
making out. Gemini Mountain.
Yeah. He does always work with different actors, which I think is like commendable of him. Like always like a completely different cast of people. I don't think he's really reused a lot of actors in his films. I'm trying to think. Like he's worked with Michelle Yeoh and then Jake Gyllenhaal, Heath Ledger, and like Will Smith, even, and like Clive Owen. Like I don't think they like there's much overlap there, like in his filmography. I do like respect that about Ang Lee. Mm-hmm. This is something I noticed. Just thinking about.
Yeah, you never know what you're gonna get when you watch one of his movies.
Yeah, I watch his movies. I always look forward to them.
Versatile without a consistent level of quality. Just versatile in general.
Yeah, he's very ambitious.
Yeah,
but this turned out really good. So yeah, good for him. Right after Hulk too.
Yeah, which is saved it.
That's probably his worst. Honestly, it's probably his worst movie. I didn't even like that as a kid.
Worse than Gemini Man.
Yeah, very odd, that movie.
Yeah.
The Hulk is funny. So funny that I would watch it sooner than Gemini Man, but I think it is kind of worse, yeah.
Yeah, as a kid, I just thought it was scary. Like, there's like all these like editing and like there's like this scary editing in it, I guess.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like when he's transforming.
The comic panels, like, it's so literal with the...
Oh, yeah, that too. It's like a literal comic book adaptation.
I was like 2/3 through the movie when I realized, oh, it's supposed to be a comic book. That's why everything's so crazy.
Yeah. It's really weird. Yeah.
Question time?
All right.
Okay, let's do some questions from the Sardonicast community. Head over to the subreddit where there's a suggestion thread where you can ask us whatever you feel like. Just like the Space Dentist did, who can start us off here. Has anyone seen any of Nathan Fielder's insane new show, The Rehearsal? So I kind of binged watched like a like 2.5 seasons of Nathan for You while I was recovering from my nose being sliced. And I found that very funny. But I haven't really heard much about the rehearsal show, is it? Have you guys seen it?
Oh, yeah. I've seen the first
No, I haven't.
4 episodes while I was out of town with my boyfriend. And since I'll be at Toronto Film Festival in another few weeks, and I'll be seeing my boyfriend again, I'm just kind of waiting for the last 2 episodes. I'll watch those with him again. So won't be finishing it right away, but I love it. It's so funny. It's literally Nathan Fielder's Synecdoche, New York.
Really? Because I was like not really understanding like from the description on IMDb or whatever about what it's about, really, what it's going for. Okay.
It's like if Nathan for You had a bigger budget and was just focused on like one type of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds hilarious. I saw it. I think it's on HBO Max, isn't it? So I don't know how the hell to watch it.
If you liked Nathan for You, then you'll for sure like the rehearsal.
Yeah, Nathan for You is very funny. I think I've said I went to one of the shops he went to in like LA.
Oh, yeah.
LA fame.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the knick-knack souvenir thing.
Yeah.
Joined up.
Yeah, I got something from there, yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds cool. I've seen some clips of it. It seems funny. There's so much stuff to watch, you know.
It's so you need to prioritize it. It's so funny. It's so good.
Yeah, I'll add it to my list. Yeah, Saul is ending. Better Call Saul's ending today. It's the final episode. Good.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, well, no, seeing as you mention it, Ralph, man, we got this question from SWBG99. Thoughts on Better Call Saul Season 6? Because that was another thing I was like catching
is that
up
the
on
newest
while
one?
recovering.
That's the newest one, right? What do you think of it, Alex?
It must be. See, they did the kind of mid-season break, didn't they? And then it was like a month or 2 in between, and I was like, I loved how the mid-season ended, but building up to it, I was a bit like, not sure like where this is going, how's this going to wrap up, but where it's gone in like the end is like, it's pretty like incredible writing to me.
It's really fucking great, yeah. That last episode was like excellent. The penultimate one.
Like it's just payoff after payoff after payoff. It's like,
oh yeah. The pacing is so good.
Creative too, like and unexpected. Like
yeah. Like again, I always go to Game of Thrones as like a bad example. Like they're setting up way too much shit in that show to where they didn't pay any of it off. It felt disappointing because they had like all these moving pieces that they wrap up in like one season or whatever, 6 episodes. And here, like the way everything was paced out was just very gradually. Like it really took its time, and then you slowly see like all the dominoes fall, but like it feels very satisfying each one. That like it's great that they took their time and like they paced the show like
the
this.
way they've used the kind of like different timelines, the different time zones, or whatever you want to call it.
Oh
and
yeah,
how that like starts paying off. I was
too.
like really impressed with that, and like where it's taking. I can't wait to see.
It starts jumping around, like a lot this season, which I thought was really cool.
Well, yeah, because like the early seasons, it has all these like intros that are like set like in some undistinguished kind of time period, and it's like that's a like slow build kind of setup. It's like seasons ago, like this stuff has been established, so it's like a really satisfying kind of slow burn sort of payoff.
Yeah, those little teasers. Yeah, but now there's like whole episodes that are like that, and the way they set that up was like perfect, and like you're never confused as to where you are in the story. And I like how you don't really see Saul like as Saul that much. Like the Saul Goodman is like very
it's all about
briefly,
just how he got there and how it's gonna wind up.
And those characters, like you get Gus and whatever and Mike, but it's more about like they want to focus on those new guys too. Like I like that they spend so much time establishing them. Like it takes
Kim
a long
Wexler
time to get to Gus.
Maybe one of the best characters probably in this universe now to me.
Yeah.
She's like a really fascinating character. Like
the way they took her was like
gone.
really sad.
Yeah.
Like there's just so many smart decisions they took. Like I don't want to give away too much, but a lot of smart choices that like I really like that time jump in like the end of It's like, I think episode 9 of this season. Like, it was very jarring. Like, it's not even a commercial break, but it was very, like, purposeful how that was done. I'm like, oh yeah, that was great. It just, like, jumps to, like, to modern Saul Goodman, like,
Yeah.
really quickly. And that was awesome. It's, like, very risky. Like, that's how I felt about the whole thing. It was, like, they took a lot of risks with it. And I think a lot of it was paid off really well to, like, tell the story they were trying to do.
Yeah, it was a risky project to begin with. Like, prequels kind of have a lot of stigma inherently. Like, it's a challenging thing to tackle, and
it really distinguishes itself.
I don't know if it's quite as good as Breaking Bad, but it's like definitely it's kind of its own thing.
I think that's an unfair question, or unfair like thing to compare. I mean,
yeah, it's almost pointless to compare because they are so different.
They are very different. Yeah, for sure. It makes me not like Saul Goodman I guess I didn't like him before, but now I'm like, yeah, fuck that guy.
Well, like he's more two-dimensional in Breaking Bad. He's like just kind of like the asshole lawyer, but then like seeing his whole like backstory and how he's wound up in this place, it's like it gives him so much more depth.
He really does become like Walt. Like he becomes like a total bastard by the end of it.
Yeah, he's like a really complicated character.
He's like a total corrupt, like especially that last few episodes. You're like, man, this guy's like a kind of a piece of shit now. Like you don't realize like just how bad like he got. Great show. I'm excited to see how it wraps up tonight.
Yeah, same.
The Vince Gilligan did the last one, but actually this episode's directed and written by Peter Gould, who like I believe he wrote the first episode with Saul Goodman in it for like Breaking Bad, so that's why he's like a
cool
executive producer and like directed this episode, because he's he actually created the Saul character, which is great. Like they really fleshed that character out. He was like an interesting viewpoint character, I think, for like the prequel show. I guess because Bob Odenkirk was like such a notable actor in it. He's great in the show. He had a lot of range. He turned out to be like a really great actor too. Yeah, and
like they don't fall into the fan service kind of pitfalls. There's touches here and there. It is in there.
There's fan service. There's a lot of characters.
But it's never annoying or distracting. It always feels earned to me anyway.
Yeah, you want to see that stuff too. Yeah, it's worked in really well. It's a really great show. You should watch at some point, Adam.
Maybe. There's a lot of things I still gotta watch Mr. Robert.
Yeah,
you do.
Blu-rays.
Yeah, the Blu-rays you got you.
Yeah. I'll be doing it. Don't worry. I'm starting to like. Part of the reason my 2016 list is taking so long is because I'm like considering like television shows for it as well. Like if they started at that point, and like especially miniseries, and so.
Oh, okay.
I think Mr. Robot is 2015 or 16, so that will be something that I make sure I go through anyway. So, another question.
I guess we can edit this one out if we were planning to talk about it in one of our upcoming episodes. Sure. But Alfafa Extra says, it's been over a month since its release. What's the SAR's general opinion on the Phil Tippett movie Mad God?
Yeah, I don't have much to say about it, so this works out fine, actually.
I think this is a good way to summarize it.
Yeah, thank you.
Shit, I haven't seen it yet.
Whatever.
Go ahead and talk.
Here, let me bring up my notes. So basically, it's something that I enjoyed watching, and I loved the aesthetic and the style, and obviously the craftsmanship and the talent going into the animation. It's stop motion, and the creature design is like really interesting, and the world is really interesting. But what prevented me from thinking it was like really great personally is it just didn't have much of like a through line, and it felt like different shorts kind of stitched together and then I think it turned out it was. I think I looked it up. It was like
basically yeah. I stumbled across this like bizarre video of because Phil Tippett's like a special effects like master. But his attachment to Star Wars meant that I found this video on YouTube where like he was interviewed by like this huge Star Wars channel, Star Wars Theory, And of course, this guy he's like interviewing him, like just asking him questions about Star Wars, and like he doesn't give a fuck about like franchise film, and it's hilarious, like how like disinterested he is in that kind of stuff because he's such just like I want to do my own thing. I want to make my weird models like over like 10, 15 years to get this project that he's like not interested in like franchise films or anything like that.
Of course.
And hearing him like talking about it was like really funny. And I'd recommend watching that video to hear his process and kind of what he gets out of he like laments about how like the way like special effects have gone over the years and how like just people just don't really appreciate stop motion the way it does. And that is what drew me to Mad God, 'cause it's like you just don't really get like projects like this weird, this out there on this kind of scale. But I'm right there with you there.
What's funny is you say that you don't really get a lot of projects like this. This was released the same year as like another cut of another movie called Junkhead, which almost has like the exact same story. Like it's stop motion, not story of the film, but it's like a stop motion animated film made by like basically one guy over like 17 years. And it's another. I actually liked Junkhead a bit more. I thought that it worked a bit better. And there's also cool creature design and cool animation and stuff too. If you liked Mad God, I would say check it out. It's different in tone. Junkhead is a bit more like less like gothic. It's like kind of a bit more like breakbeat in a way.
Was that in one of your festival videos?
Yeah, it was in my Fantasia Festival video. And what's funny is I could have seen Mad God at that same festival, but I didn't have time to catch it. Just scheduling. So it was like both of those movies at the same festival is kind of funny. The same year.
Yeah. I was going to say earlier, I felt like it was kind of like building with some structure. It had kind of like a central character who was traversing through the environment, and it was like cool, and it seemed like it was kind of going a certain way, and it was kind of rooted in something I could attach myself to. But after a certain point, it just like goes a different direction, and yeah, it does kind of feel like a bunch of like vignettes just set in kind of a wacky environment, and it goes like full like 2001 at the end, like fully like abstract, like crazy, but it's like got really slow pacing. Cool. It kind of feels
I got a bit impatient,
repetitive
by the end of it. It was a bit repetitive. I think I might have enjoyed it more as shorts, or if they like trimmed it down or something a bit, just because
like 3 shorts or something,
like a French Dispatch kind of thing,
kind of, but it doesn't like present itself as that, and you're kind of just left wondering why you're watching something else. But you're kind of like, what was happening with that other story that was kind of interesting, like, you know, like that one kind of, are we going to go anywhere with that? And you're just kind of on something else, and it's like, oh, and it's like in the same universe, but some are like more interesting than others. They're kind of different, but there's like no dialogue really.
Yeah, basically. It's basically dialogue free. There's like a cool section towards the end with it's got quite a like similar kind of dingy color palette for most of the movie, and then like in the last third, it's like this crazy, colorful, weird like switch up for just a second, which I thought was cool. But it's like I needed a bit more like me, and I kept thinking about that video game Inside. I feel like I mention it quite a lot. But, you know, the kind of impressive imagery, and I just feel like we have art that is expressing these ideas in kind of ways that I just prefer. I'm probably not going to visit it, but I do have mad respect for Mad God, so I'd still recommend checking out if you love like weird creatures and just stop motion and Phil Tippett's like history. I think it's interesting.
Nice. Mad respect for Mad God. Like that. Yeah, I'll check it out at some point.
You should.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I give it a 6 out of 10 if anybody's curious.
Yeah, seems decent. Worth a watch.
Yeah, I think I gave it about the same. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Another question?
Next question.
Okay, let's do this one from Screamicide. Seems like the Bollywood film RRR is getting some of the highest praise of any film this year. Have any of the sardonic cunts got plans to see it anytime soon?
No, not watching it.
Oh no, I don't want to talk about it.
You're not gonna? I'm pretty sure it's...
I've watched it.
They're always so...
No, I watched it.
Oh, you've seen it?
Every fucking Bollywood movie gets overinflated to shit.
Yeah, Adam is right. It got so overhyped.
I haven't seen it. I'm not going to watch it. I'm not... Fool me once. Fool me twice. Fool me can't get fooled again, okay? What did George Bush say?
Really?
Like, no, I'll watch the Apu trilogy if I want to watch an Indian film later, okay?
Yeah.
So what was wrong with it then?
I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to piss people off. Yeah, but I did not really enjoy it. It's 3 hours long. Yeah, it's...
Director of Bahubali, which was like...
It's the same director.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, exactly. It's like I haven't noticed any notable improvement. It's like it's the same shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
People are like, the scene where like there's animals running around. There's like the car comes in. There's an explosions. It's like, isn't it fun? I'm like, okay, yeah, it's just like it's a cool scene.
There's nothing wrong with liking that type of film, but I gotta say, there's certain large populations where, traditionally the culture likes a certain type of film, and I'm just not that into it. And it's okay if they like it, that's fine. I'm just not that into it. What Chinese audiences really like, I'm not that into. What Indian audiences really like, I'm not that into. There's nothing wrong with enjoying it. There's nothing wrong with not enjoying it. But they have large populations, and they rate the films on IMDb, and people go like, wow, everybody really loves this movie. I'm like, it doesn't like not the type of audience that I find to be
there's some truth to that for sure.
Trustworthy for my opinion, my personal preferences for films. So
those ratings get so inflated. That's why it's so hard to trust these sites. It's like because of that happens, and bots.
I think IMDb actually has like a separate portal for like Indian movies because of it, just because otherwise the top 250 would be only Indian movies.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Like, I gave Bahubali a chance, and
it's like Bahubali or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't get into that shit. Yeah, I'm not trying to make anyone upset. Like, enjoy what you want. Yeah, I can't get into that. I just can't take it seriously.
The amount of times where people have like tricked me essentially into watching another like Bollywood movie, like I can only get fooled like 30 more times, like I can't. I have to have a breaking point before I just say like, no, I'm not checking it out. I've hit that point. I've hit that point. I've hit the point with this movie. I'm like, this was 3 hours long. I didn't even care about what was happening. If I had unlimited time and I didn't have other movies to watch, then sure, I'd check it out.
Why are these so long? That's my biggest criticism for most movies I see is like, why is it so long? And then you watch something that's like 3 hours long.
I'll watch the first 5 minutes and I'll get pissed off and I'll just shut it off. That's what happens. I watch the first 5 minutes. I'm like, this is exactly what I don't like.
Yeah.
And then
all right. Yeah, that's all I need to say about.
So I'm not watching RRR. I might if it gets to, I don't know, 40 years from now, and I'm making my best of 2022 list, and it's on my watch list, then I'll check out the first 5 minutes. Okay. But I'm not watching it. I'm not setting aside time for it now when I could be watching other things.
Watch the first 5 minutes. You won't even get past the opening credits.
Yeah, probably.
Seriously.
Honestly, yeah.
Ray Stevenson was in it. That was interesting.
Yeah, I was just looking at the trailer, and it was,
it was,
I just like the Bahubali link, because there's a whole episode on that one that we did. So.
Yeah, I like the title, Bahubali. Yeah, it's rated number 226 on Letterboxd.
Well,
yeah, and like of all the top films of all time.
Well, yeah, that's the Bahubali thing, though, right? It's got an 8.
Yeah.
So
yeah, RRR has a 4.2.
They have a gigantic population, and they like those kinds of movies.
Yeah,
and the internet is an international system, so.
Minions Rise of Gru is a 3.5 for some reason. So, there you go. All right.
Oh, well, on Letterboxd.
Yeah, on Letterboxd. You can't really trust those sites. I don't know what's going on. There's like most movies you can, but like even Men, like it has low ratings, but I understand why it has like low ratings. Like I don't think those are like rigged, or like maybe a little like, but I don't think that's too much a problem with that. I just think it's like some movies that come out, they get like 5 stars because it's a meme, or because like what Adam was saying, or like. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Sometimes maybe it's bots. I mean, like with the Snyder Cut, those were bots. Like there's like
is that like
articles? Yeah, Rolling Stone. I think like they confirm it's like he basically just used bots to like, and that's why like the Oscars cheer moment or whatever with Ezra Miller.
That's so funny.
Like those were bots who voted
so
for
funny.
it. Yeah, they actually like rigged the Oscars. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was good. That's hilarious.
But like,
man.
I didn't even need to be told that. I knew it was like, I knew there was some amount of manipulation going on. Like, even my like first reaction to the movie, I'm like, this is weird. Like, why is this movie that just came out, or at least on HBO Max, have like such high ratings? Unless it's like, comic book fans who are obviously really, they love that kind of thing, but also some kind of like manipulation going on.
Yeah.
Like, it's very strange. It's why these rating sites are very hard to trust. Like, not every film, but there's certain films that the ratings seem way off. It's like some of these films are rated higher than like actually great films, like Shawshank Redemption or whatever. Even the Joker film, it's like very inflated ratings, I feel. Probably from like people who are really passionate about that character or whatever. But it's like...
Yeah, there's like a recency bias thing.
Yeah, it's not better than like a lot of these other movies in like the top 250, right? Like that IMDb list is like way off. Like Spider-Man No Way Home, like that's way off. Like
all the Avengers movies.
There's a recency bias as well.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. I like Spider-Man No Way Home. I thought it was great. It's not as good as Pulp Fiction or like whatever it was next to, like what we were saying in our review. Right.
Yeah. It does reward like broad, like big, like everyone loves it kind of movies. It used to be like a bit more interesting, kind of in the early 2000s, but it's
IMDb does have like a scaling system, or like some ratings count more for others, I think, based on how many movies you log. But again, there's ways of getting around that. Probably. Yeah. So who knows? Who knows what's going on?
All right. One more question. One last one.
Okay, let's do this one from Bitchington 309. What's your favorite part of living?
Comfort and happiness.
Yeah, chasing happiness.
Yeah.
Experiences.
Movies.
Yeah, I mean, I could list things that give me comfort and happiness, but it's those are things. Like that's the most basic answer.
Yeah, we're pretty matter of fact with that one.
Yeah, I don't know what else I would say, honestly.
Yeah, I felt obliged to read it because it was one of the most upvoted ones in the thread. So
Yeah,
you got your answer, guys.
Having
maybe next time ask us what brings us comfort and happiness, idiot.
Yeah,
reaching your goals. I think that brings me like happiness. Having ambitious goals and reaching them.
Doing things for yourself.
Not just like existing. Yeah, like having goals and fulfilling them.
Some people are happy just existing too, depends on the person.
That's good.
Yeah, if that's what you want, go for it.
Yeah, some people aren't. Some people want to like do something. Yeah. Oh yeah, if you just want to like hang out.
Some people aren't interested in, ambition or like proving yourself sort of thing. So
yeah, some people like live for that. And it's like, yeah, good. As long as you're not hurting anybody. Obviously, ambition can be bad. But that's anything.
Some people, like, honestly, like there's a lot of people that are just happy, like just finding a significant other, having kids, and that's all you do. And that's if as long as you're stable and you can afford
but again, that's a goal. Like you gotta find someone you like, or someone you like at least.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of happiness is also tied to like income too. It's pretty difficult to be happy if you're poor. So
right,
it'd be nice to have a bit more equality in that sense. But
some people's goals like to have a great job, or like make a certain amount of money. Some people's goals to get to a good school.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's people who just want to go to a great school and they have like no idea what they want to do after. They're just like after they graduate college, they just have like no.
Oh yeah, they've already taken out the loan. They've already paid for tuition, and they're like, I don't really know what I want to take, but I'm in school.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is debt that I'll have to pay off later.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, if that's what you want to do, like people, they'll do it. Like if that's really what they want to do with their life, go to like some prestigious school. They will do that.
Just surround yourself with people who love and accept you, that you don't have to, pretend to be someone else around, and someone you can open up to and just exist and be comfortable. And it takes work trying to find that situation for a lot of people. It takes work trying to find that type of person, but you can't really get it unless you try. So what's there to lose, right?
Oh yeah. Well, hot damn.
All right, I guess that's it for questions.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, I think it's my turn to recommend a film.
What have you got for us?
Well, conveniently, my 4K Blu-ray just showed up of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Oh, shit.
Obviously, I've been... A lot of my recommendations are just going to be based on, like, when the 4K Blu-rays are released.
That's cool.
Because,
I just got my 4K TV, so...
I'm still waiting for a 4K Blu-ray for Kill Bill. I fucking want to... I don't want to talk about that one until we get a 4K version of that.
Yeah.
Should be coming in the next year or two. But yeah, anyway, Michel Gondry, director, and Charlie Kaufman, writer. Starring Kate Winslet and Jim Carrey. And a few other people are in it as well. Mark Ruffalo, Elijah Wood, Tom Wilkinson, Kirsten Dunst. The film is called Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and it is 2003, 4? 2004. Watch the movie if you want to not get spoiled about the movie. Watch it before the next episode. These episodes come out every 2 weeks. You can get them early by going to patreon.com/Sardonicast or going to sardonicast.com, signing up for premium. It's only $2 a month, and you get them early as they're edited. Particularly early for the next few weeks because I'm going out of town for Toronto Film Festival again, so we're recording some of these pretty early again. We're doing like 3 in a row. So, pretty simple. But happy. Thanks for watching. We also got merch. Link in the description. There's a Sardonicast highlights channel. Search that up. Link in the description also, I think. And send us your fan art on the subreddit or on Twitter. #Sardonicast fan art. And they'll show up at the beginning of the YouTube uploads. Send your art. Anyway, thanks for listening. Happy Shrek Dicky, New York. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Take care.